What's up, everybody? It's Unknown Facts, but today we're going full-on Mr. Beast style because we're talking about the craziest heists in history. I mean, we've got stolen Eiffel Towers, disappearing airplanes, even a beach someone tried to walk off with. Make sure you're subscribed and hit that like button because you do not want to miss this. All right, first up, we're talking about the Eiffel Tower. Can you even imagine someone trying to steal that thing? It's massive. But this guy, Victor Lustig, he managed to convince people he owned it and wanted to sell it for scrap metal. Can you believe that? This was back in the 1920s, and scrap metal was a hot commodity. Lustig created all these fake documents, made himself look like a big-shot government official, and found himself a buyer. This guy was so convinced he was getting a steal of a deal that he handed over a briefcase full of cash. Lustig took the money and bolted to Vienna. The craziest part, the guy he scammed was too embarrassed to go to the police. Can you imagine being that guy? Talk about buyer's remorse. Next up is a classic, the Mona Lisa heist. It was 1911, and this guy, Vincenzo Peruggia, just walked into the Louvre Museum and walked out with one of the most famous paintings in the world. I mean, it sounds so simple, right? But back then, the Louvre's security wasn't exactly Fort Knox. Peruggia was actually a handyman who used to work at the museum. He knew the layout, hid overnight in a closet, and just took the painting off the wall when no one was looking. He kept it hidden in his apartment for 2 years. The police were going crazy trying to figure out who stole it. It became this huge international news story. Finally, Peruggia got cocky and tried to sell the Mona Lisa to an art dealer in Italy. Busted! Back to the Louvre she went. Oeuvre. Okay, get this. A Boeing 727 just vanished into thin air. We're not talking about a small plane here, people. This is a massive passenger jet. In 2003, it was parked at an airport in Angola, and then, poof, gone. 2 guys were seen on board, but no one knows who they were or where they were going. Some people think it was a terrorist thing, others think it was an insurance scam. To this day, no trace of the plane or the guys on board has ever been found. Imagine the investigators scratching their heads on this one. It's like the plane was swallowed by the Bermuda Triangle or something. This is one mystery for the ages, my friends. Chapter 4. The Empire State Building? Sold. Not really. So you think you could sell the Empire State Building? This guy, Victor Lustig, yeah, the Eiffel Tower guy again, he almost pulled it off twice. This dude was a master con artist. In the 1920s, he created these elaborate documents that made it look like he had the authority to sell the Empire State Building. He found a buyer, a wealthy businessman, who was ready to hand over a huge chunk of change for the deal of a lifetime. But just like with the Eiffel Tower, Lustig's greed got the best of him. He tried to pull the same stunt again with a different buyer, and that's when the jig was up. The second buyer got suspicious and called the police. Lustig was finally caught and sent to Alcatraz. The audacity of this guy, right? Chapter 5. The Scream Stolen. Again. Edvard Munch's. The Scream is one of the most iconic paintings in the world, and it's also a favorite target for art thieves. In 1994, thieves broke into the National Gallery in Oslo, Norway, and swiped it right off the wall. They even left a note. Thanks for the poor security. Savage! It was a daring heist, but the thieves messed up by demanding a ransom. The police set up a sting operation, caught them red-handed, and recovered the painting, but the story doesn't end there. In 2004, The Scream, along with another Munch masterpiece, Madonna, was stolen again, this time from the Munch Museum, also in Oslo. Armed robbers stormed the museum in broad daylight, grabbed the paintings in front of terrified visitors, and escaped. Luckily, both paintings were recovered a couple of years later. Chapter 6. Dude, where's my tank? You know what they say, go big or go home. And this guy took it literally by stealing a freaking tank. In 2011, a former member of the US Army Reserve, Sean Tankerley, I'm not making this up, decided to take a joyride in an M60 Patton tank from a National Guard armory in California. He just drove the 50-ton beast right through the armory gates and led police on a slow-speed chase through the streets of San Bernardino. I mean, how do you even try to stop a tank? The chase finally ended when the tank got stuck on a median strip. Tankerley tried to make a run for it, but was quickly apprehended. I'm sure he learned a valuable lesson that day. Tanks are not exactly inconspicuous getaway vehicles. Chapter 7. They stole a what? A beach? Okay, this next one is straight up wild. In 2008, a whole beach vanished in Jamaica. I'm talking about tons of sand, just gone. Poof! It was a beautiful stretch of white sand beach that was part of a resort development. Turns out it was a group of guys who literally trucked the sand away in the middle of the night. They were hired by a rival hotel developer who wanted to sabotage the competition. Can you imagine being that petty? The theft caused a huge uproar in Jamaica, and the authorities launched a massive investigation. They never found all of the stolen sand, but some of it was traced back to construction sites owned by the rival developer. Talk about a dirty business. Chapter 8. Gone in 60 seconds. A bridge. You've heard of cars being stolen in 60 seconds, but what about a bridge? In 2011, a group of thieves in Russia pulled off one of the most audacious heists ever when they dismantled and stole a 200-foot-long metal bridge. These guys weren't messing around. They came prepared with cranes, trucks, and cutting torches. They systematically dismantled the bridge piece by piece, loaded it up, and drove away with it. The whole operation took them just a few days, and they made off with an estimated $1 million worth of scrap metal. The authorities were baffled. It's not every day that an entire bridge disappears. Chapter 9. The Great Train Robbery Old School Heist. Now we're going back in time to 1963 and the infamous Great Train Robbery in England. This was a meticulously planned heist that involved stopping a Royal Mail train and making off with a fortune in used banknotes. A gang of 15 men, led by Bruce Reynolds, tampered with the track signals, forcing the train to stop at a remote location. They then overpowered the train crew and made off with bags and bags of cash. It was the biggest robbery in British history at the time, and the gang became instant celebrities, even though most of them were eventually caught. The Great Train Robbery is still talked about today, a testament to its audacity and the enduring allure of a good heist story. Chapter 10, Dynamite Heist, Stolen Skeleton. Okay, this one's for all you dinosaur fans. In 2012, a whole Tyrannosaurus bataar skeleton was stolen from Mongolia and smuggled into the United States. This wasn't just any old fossil, people. This was a nearly complete skeleton of a rare dinosaur. The thief, Eric Prokopi, a self-proclaimed commercial paleontologist, tried to sell the skeleton at auction in New York City. He thought he could make millions. But the Mongolian government got wind of the sale and put a stop to it. Prokopi was arrested and extradited to Mongolia, where he faced charges of smuggling and theft. The Tyrannosaurus bataar skeleton was eventually returned to its rightful home. Chapter 11. Space rock. Meteorite goes missing. Even meteorites aren't safe from thieves. In 2011, a 125-pound meteorite known as the Willamette meteorite was stolen from the American Museum of Natural History in New York City. This meteorite was a big deal, literally and figuratively. It was one of the largest meteorites ever found in the United States and was a popular exhibit at the museum. The thieves thought they could make a quick buck by selling the meteorite on the black market, but they underestimated the power of the internet. News of the theft spread like wildfire, and the thieves were quickly identified and arrested. The Willamette meteorite was recovered and returned to the museum, safe and sound. Chapter 12. Giant duck flies the coop. Last but not least, we have the case of the giant inflatable duck. In 2013, a 54-foot-tall rubber duck created by Dutch artist Florentine Hofmann was stolen from Victoria Harbour in Hong Kong. This wasn't just any duck, people. This was a global art sensation that had been touring the world, bringing joy and smiles to millions. Its disappearance sparked outrage and sadness in Hong Kong and beyond. The thieves were never caught and the duck was never found. Some people believe it was simply swept away by the tide, while others are convinced it was a prank gone wrong. Either way, the giant inflatable duck's disappearance remains a mystery to this day. Outros, what in the world? Yo, that's it for some of the craziest heists ever. Can you believe people actually tried to steal an entire beach in a giant rubber duck? Like, what were they thinking? Make sure you let me know in the comments which one you thought was the most insane. And hey, if you had to steal something, what would it be? Don't forget to subscribe for more mind-blowing facts. And hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on the next video. Peace out.